All right, howdy everybody. Back for another video. Back for another episode of Movie Night with Mike. I'm Mike. Let's see. I got out of seeing. Last night I went and saw The Creator. It's like when you're a widower like me and you can't sleep and you have, a movie pass for quite a bit of movie theaters and stuff like that, you tend to, to basically pass the time by, I go to movies, and so that's pretty much what I do. And I've been wanting to see The Creator ever since it came out on the 29th of September. I had seen the trailers for it. I really was excited about it for a while. But I just I couldn't, nobody really wanted to go see it, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll go and see it by myself. So I went and I saw it. It's PG-13. It's about 2 hours and 16 minutes long runtime. It's directed by the guy who did the Rogue One movies, the Star Wars Rogue One. It has Denzel Washington's son in it, who, I really haven't watched a lot of his movies, so I'm not really familiar with him. But when I sat down and I watched the movie at the beginning and I heard him speak, I was like, oh my god, his tone of voice and his inflection sounded like Denzel. So I went and I checked IMDb later, and I was like, oh my god, it is Denzel's son. So that's how I pretty much found out about it. It wasn't I remember when I saw the trailers, I saw his name come up, and I remember seeing his name floating around there before, but I wasn't really sure that was his son, So I just thought it was funny, when I'm sitting there watching the movie, and the way his dialect and the way he spoke, his inflection in his voice, even his voice sounded like Denzel, and the way he delivered his dialogue, even at the very beginning, sounded a lot like Denzel. So anyway, and plus I haven't seen the movie Tenet yet, so no, and I know that was another movie that he was in, so don't get on me about that. So, but anyway, the movie was, it has Allison Janney in it as well, and it has Ken Watanabe in it, another guy that was in, he's been in a few Christopher Nolan movies himself, besides Denzel's son. And and he's been one of my favorite actors as well for a long time. And so to see him in this movie was really it was surprising, but it was a good surprise, So anyway, the movie's a lot of, it's, it basically gives a lot about, how we're afraid of AI, and how AI is, we're so afraid of AI, becoming this immense thing that we're basically become a fear-mongering society, and we've decided that we're gonna go out and just get rid of all anything with about AI or computer, artificial intelligence, because they're the enemy type situation, and we're afraid of what is going to transpire with the AI. And they're the enemy no matter what, and you know, like, they don't have any feelings like we do, and so anything. So, like, I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal that we're getting rid of, like, the AI. In other words, you know, it's sort of like, you know, another version of, like, sort of like Blade Runner. You know, I mean, because that's what like the whole premise of, like, the movie Blade Runner was where they were afraid of the replicants, and so they would send out the you know, the Blade Runner to retire the replicants, and they, like, basically, you know, built a shelf life for the replicants, like, I think it was like 2 years for the replicants, and they were supposed to, you know, die off. Sort of like, you know, what happened in, like, Jurassic Park, where, you know, like, the dinosaurs were only supposed to, like, without a certain enzyme that they were supposed to die off in like, in a few weeks or something like that, as, you know, a defense mechanism. Whereas, you know, like, in this situation, there was none of there was none of that type of thing going on. Like, they didn't build, like, this kind of defense thing into them. But anyway, and so, like, the movie's all about, you know, it's sort of, you know, like, I got a lot of feelings of, you know, like bigotry, and, you know, especially towards the other, you know, the AI type thing. And our hero had a tragic event that happened at the very beginning. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll just let you basically watch it for yourself. So he basically had something tragic happen in his life, and he's been having, you know, like, night terrors ever since. And we pick up, like, 5 years after the event of what happened at the beginning of the movie. And so anyway, like, pretty much what I got out of it was, you know, like, there was just it was just a movie that was giving out a message of, like, we should really be more loving towards one another, and be hopeful with one another, and be kind to our neighbors. And because, you know, you never know when where like, our help is going to come from in the future, and type stuff like that. But so, like, and that's just me, you know, like, from my perspective of what I saw, and what I picked up from when I watched the movie. Of course, everybody's perspective is different. So, but anyway, I mean, I thought it was a fun watch. I enjoyed it. I did see some, you know, complaints about, you know, the runtime and the pacing, and this was also, I believe this was Hans Zimmer scored this movie too. I mean, so, I mean, there was a lot of ties to, like, back to Christopher Nolan with this. You could tell, because, like, like, just like I said, you know, the one kid that was that's Denzel's son. He was in Tenet, which was Christopher Nolan. Hans Zimmer did a bunch of his movies scored a bunch of his movies, and Ken Wannabe, he's been in quite a bit of Christopher Nolan's movies as well. You know, like Batman Begins and Inception, at least. So, but anyway, I mean, like, I thought the score was fine. I didn't think it was, you know, anything breathtaking. I thought it was okay. And, I mean, overall, the movie, like, some of the complaints I saw were that it's just a little fatty, and the pacing's a little off, and I agree with that. I agree that, you know, that it suffers from being like not edited to perfection. And I think, you know, you could take about 15 to maybe 20 minutes out of this movie, and it really wouldn't suffer, you know. I think it would probably add to it, because there's just like, I mean, when I got out of the theater, there was this lady that was, like, holding the door for me, and she asked me on my way out. She's like, "So, what do you think of the movie?" And I told her I thought it was a little fatty. And she was like, yeah, I totally agree with that statement. Like, I mean, I felt like it was just basically jarring me in so many directions. And I agree with her. Like, I mean, I feel like it just wasn't concise enough, you know? Like, I feel like the director wanted to do something, and he just, it just was too much going on at one time that he didn't know where he wanted to go. And so he was just basically, you know, just like like what happens with a lot of movies that has a lot of stuff going on at one time, where, you know, it just becomes like basically something that's just throw against the wall, and it's just see what sticks, and it's like splatter paint everywhere. And that's sort of like what happened with this movie. Let's see, do I think it's shelf worthy, as Matt would say? I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of picky about shelf worthy now. I mean, back in my golden years, I would basically buy any movie that came out. And nowadays, it's like I'm really like frugal about what I put a bunch of stuff up on Mercari nowadays, because I mean, I just don't, if I don't watch it and I don't see myself watching it, then I mean, it's got to go, because I mean, it's just taking up room and taking up space. And if I don't see myself, you know, at least like rewatching it like one time or rewatching it many times, and I mean, it's got to go. It's just a waste of space. And so, in my opinion, would I buy this and bring it home? Probably not. But that doesn't mean like it's not a good movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie. It's just, I just don't think it's rewatchable for me. For you, it might be. I mean, it's not Children of Men. Like, I thought Children of Men, which was sort of like a similar thing with this movie, or Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049, I thought that those are a lot better movies and more rewatchable than this. And so that's why I would basically say, like, I just wouldn't add it to my collection. So, but I mean, still, I would give this movie like a solid B+. It's a decent movie. It's pretty good. I think people will enjoy it. I know it hasn't really taken off at the box office, probably because, like, what I just said about people, like, earlier, not wanting to even want to go with me, you know, so. But anyway, that's just where I'm at with that. And I mean, and I don't know if you heard, but like, there was news that came out like a couple days ago, you know, that Best Buy is now like basically doing away with all like physical media with Blu-rays and DVDs and you know, 4K stuff, and it's really disheartening. I mean, I guess I just got spoiled, and I didn't think that day was ever going to come, and I guess it's right around the corner that we're going to be living in a day and age where there's not going to be any physical media anytime soon. And I guess that goes for games too. I heard Best Buy, they're still going to sell games or whatever that are physical. But let's be honest, like, games haven't been physical in a long time either. You like, sometimes you buy an empty case and they give you like a digital code. And not only that, but like, even when you buy a video game nowadays, like for PlayStation 5, or even like for the last generation, like the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox Series X, or or the Xbox One X, I'm sorry, that when you bought like a disc, the game wasn't actually on the disc. You just downloaded it from the disc through the internet, and it went onto your hard drive type crap. And this is the kind of day and age that we're at now. Like, I miss the plug and play days where, that we would just basically put in a game. It was, already basically, it was already, it was already good to go. No DLC. I mean, if you got it and it was a piece of crap, then there was no DLC to fix the situation. That you basically got a piece of crap. And I mean, those were the days, but I mean, at least you owned the game. Whereas nowadays, it's just like life. I remember watching, when I saw Rent for the first time, where they were saying, like, life, you don't own it, but you can rent it. And that's pretty much the way it is today with anything now. With, look at our cars. Like, most people, they don't own their cars. We pay a monthly payment on them, so until we own it. So we're basically, leasing to own type situation. Mortgages, same thing. I mean, a lot of people don't own their homes flat outright. They have like a 30-year or 15-year fixed mortgage. And so so you're pretty much, like, and same thing now goes with stuff in our house now, like our own personal belongings now, such as, like our games and our media. Like, I mean, we're not actually owning these things anymore. We're basically renting them. And it's pretty sad. But anyway, that's where we're at today. And anyway, just if you've seen the movie, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. Or, comment below and let me know what you think about the whole thing that's going on with the world right now, with the Best Buy situation, or even with what's going on. Like, I try not to bring politics in this, but, I mean, my prayers go out to everybody, that's being affected, in the Middle East and stuff like that right now, too. It's a crazy world we're living in. But anyway, with that, I hope everybody has a good night. I'll leave stuff in the description below, like I always do. If if anybody that's looking to buy or sell real estate in Maryland or Pennsylvania, I'll just leave my information below. And so I can help you out. Anyway. Hope you all have a good night. Bye-bye.